name is Ellison Radek, and I'm a campus housing employee and an organizing member of UIC's newest union, Housing Staff United! Woo! I stand here today on behalf of resident assistants, peer mentors, leadership assistants, and desk workers who work tirelessly day in and day out to staff our residence halls to ensure the safety and well-being of everybody that lives on campus. Our working conditions directly affect our residents' living conditions. How can we truly provide the best living experience for our residents when our basic needs as people aren't being met? It's important to note that we do not exist in a vacuum. We're at a time in our history where it is incredibly difficult to collectively build power and speak out against injustice. We're seeing restrictions to speech right here on this very campus. But after spending our college careers seeing professionals here at UIC and across the University of Illinois system stand up and take action for fair contracts, we feel empowered to take action ourselves to improve our own working conditions. I stand here today to tell you that this group of young people, this group of workers, has come together to build power for generations of workers to come. And I thank you for joining us on this journey. Before I introduce our next speaker, I'd like to share a quote from activist and organizer Assata Shakur, who says, "It is our duty to win. It is our duty to win for ourselves, to win for our residents, for other workers who feel powerless, and for other people so desperate for change. It is our duty to win, and we are prepared to do just that." Next up, I'd like to introduce Ian Talley, who is a desk worker on West Campus, so give it up!
Hey, how y'all doing? Woo! My name is Ian Talley, as I'm sure you just heard, and I am a desk worker on West Campus! West is best! Woo! So, I first started working for campus housing actually as an RA on West last year. After countless sleepless nights spent on call, numerous programs hosted with little to no funding, weekly desk shifts worked without pay, and hours upon hours attempting to build relationships with residents who had no interest in building a relationship with me, I was frustrated. I loved the people I worked with. I built some of the best connections that I have in my life with my coworkers living in the exact same situation as me. So, instead of leaving campus housing, I decided to shift roles and become a desk worker. This year, working as a desk worker has been, frankly, exhausting. Desk workers have constantly changing expectations, faulty technology, hazardous workplace conditions, and a whole lot of other duties as assigned. The job's theoretical simplicity has proven to be anything but. As desk workers, we are told that we are essentially door greeters. And yet, housing contracts with a security company to try to do our jobs overnight. When our card swipe system is down, our superiors do nothing but complain about whether or not we're wearing our uniforms, or if we have our badge on. Clearly, greeting residents always ends up at the bottom of the priority list, and the many of us are still managing to connect with residents on their hardest days. Going in, I thought the job would be easier than being an RA, but I learned that in campus housing, all of our working conditions are unacceptable. Today, I'm here to say that staying with campus housing, though, was the right choice. Not because conditions have gotten any better. I mean, come on, let's be realistic here. I think it's gotten a whole lot worse since last year. But this, us, we are what has made everything worth it. Watching this union grow from one conversation into a cross-campus movement has made me feel for the first time like it was the right choice to keep this job. UIC Housing Staff United makes it worth it. I'm so excited to see what we do. In honor of the RAs, PMs, desk workers, and SLAs who have inspired us in years prior, to the students who inspire us to do our jobs every single day. Let's fight for our future! Yeah! Woo! And I'll hand it back right off to Miss Allison!
Let's give it up for Ian again. Another round of applause. All right, before I introduce our next speaker, if I could ask you guys to hold your signs up, that would be awesome. Keep them up. All right, our next speaker is going to be Madison, who is a senior RA at JST. So let's give it up for Madison.
Okay, is this thing, do I press a button? Okay, it's just on. Good afternoon. First and foremost, I want to thank all of you for being here. It truly means the world to me. We are here today to elevate our voices as employees and enact real change. My name is Madison Payon, and I've been working for campus housing for 2 years now, first as an RA and now as an SRA. Over the time, I've tried to advocate in both roles, trying to change what I've seen wrong, and been met with a "that's above us" response with no real avenue to advocate to that higher level. RAs, PMs, and desk workers are the foot soldiers that keep campus housing running. Without us, the whole operation would collapse. So why is it that when it comes to meeting our basic needs, it's always put on the back burner? How are we supposed to provide support for thousands of residents when many of us are just struggling to get by working 2, 3 jobs? But UIC and many other universities know how desperately housing staff rely on their jobs to stay enrolled in school and even just keep a roof over their heads, which they tend to exploit. UIC plans to raise tuition next year and the cost of housing as well, with no plans to increase wages or benefits for their workers. Today we begin to tip the scales and balance the power imbalances at UIC and public universities across the country. With UIC Housing Staff United and OPEIU 39, I believe we can do it. This is the second public university housing union in history and the first in decades. Today, we set a precedent. I pray that the university hears us and recognizes that we're not here to fight with them. We are truly here to work with them to make the conditions for not only us, but the residents better. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. Seeing all of you, whether you're staff, whether you're just support, it means the world. And yeah, so let me hear a woo. And I'll give it back to Ellison now.
Let's hear it one more time for Madison and Ian. Again, all of us at HSU want to thank you all for being here today. Before we wrap up, we're going to do some more chants, and then I'm going to ask at the end if we can get all the HSU housing employees to stand together so we can get a picture. That would be awesome. So I'm going to hand it back so we can do some chants. Let's hear it. Woo!
Let's be loud, everyone. Come on.
We're going to start with some chants. What do we want? Unions! When do we want it? Now! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down!
everyone. We're going to wrap it up today, but we're not going to wrap it up totally, right? Because the next couple months are going to require everyone to put everything they got into this, because when it's just one of us, what does campus housing do when we, ask for a raise or we ask for, a bathroom break? What do they tell us? Nothing, right? When you guys all work together, you can achieve so much more. You guys are making history right now. This is going to be the first public sector RA union and housing worker union in 20 years. This is going to be the first public sector undergraduate union in Illinois history.